A dull gray dawn broke over Silverpine Pass, where gnarled firs dripped with frost and a brittle wind rattled the bare branches. Below, a fresh layer of snow, nearly 3 feet deep, blanketed the backcountry, hiding treacherous slopes and corniced ridges. Search and rescue specialist Emma Klein tightened her jacket hood against the chill. Beside her, paramedic Jonas Reed consulted his GPS. The beacon of missing skier Rachel Thompson lay dead silent. No signal, no tracks. Only an avalanche's scars scarring the valley floor. Emma scanned the slope above. Footprints led to a gully clogged with shattered trees, each broken trunk a testament to snow's brutal force. She could be anywhere under that, Jonas muttered, voice low. We're blind. They radioed base camp. No new heat signatures on infrared sweep, no plumes of smoke, no movement. Then, sharp and piercing, the echo of a high-frequency scream sliced through the stillness. It came from the forest's edge, beyond the tree line, bouncing off ice-crusted trunks in rapid pulses. Emma froze. That's echolocation, she whispered. A bat. Out here? In winter? Impossible. Until she remembered the little brown bat's hibernacula in hollow fir logs just above. Jonas frowned. Are you saying? But bats hibernate. How could... Another scream cracked. A rapid series of ultrasonic clicks, each richer and more urgent than the last. Emma raised her head and heard, faint but unmistakable, a rhythmic pattern that seemed to draw a line southward, toward the rocky outcrop where the avalanche plume ended. She keyed her mic. Team Alpha, audible bat echolocation ahead. Follow the pulses. The pilots above, undeterred by her unconventional guidance, swept the hillside. Emma led Jonas toward the noise, sinking to mid-thigh in drifts, every step slurping in powdery resistance. The bat's call pulsed again, guiding them past hidden crevasses and beneath overhanging snow slabs. At last, they reached a sheltered hollow beneath an overturned boulder. The bat's echo grew deafening as they approached. Emma knelt, parting the snow with gloved hands, and found Rachel's lost skis crumpled beside a crushed tent pole. Then, a faint cough. Rachel, buried headfirst in a snow pocket, pale but alive. Emma pressed her radio. Victim located. Bat guided. Send extraction as soon as possible. Above, the bat's final series of clicks trailed off as though in relief. Emma closed her eyes against the rising wind, humbled. In winter's heart, nature's tiniest sentinel had become an unlikely guide. As helicopter skids thudded into the snow, Emma and Jonas worked swiftly to unearth Rachel. The bat's calls had ceased. Where did it vanish? Emma recalled field studies. Little brown bats aroused from torpor at sub-zero temperatures when disturbed by seismic shifts. The avalanche's roar must have awakened this lone sentry. In the medical tent, Rachel opened her eyes to Jonas's gentle voice. You're safe now. Her teeth chattered as Jonas warmed her blanket, but Emma knelt at her side, eyes bright. Do you remember anything? She asked. Any sound before we found you? Rachel frowned. I thought I heard tapping, like a woodpecker, but really fast. She shivered. And then chirps. I tried to dig toward them. She coughed. I thought I was going crazy. Emma exchanged a look with Jonas. You weren't, she said softly. Those were bat echolocation pulses. The pulse intervals, you followed their lead. Out the flap, the wintry world glowed under floodlights. The overturned boulder that sheltered Rachel looked innocuous now, but for Emma, it symbolized an unspoken bond between human and bat. She tapped her notepad. Bat-guided rescue. First recorded case. Later, Emma convened a debrief under the warming lamps. She presented spectrograms from their ultrasonic recorder, distinct pulses at 40 kilohertz, modulated in amplitude to mark direction. Our little ally signaled this way, she explained. The triggers? Probably ground vibrations or air pressure changes through the snowpack. Jonas shook his head in wonder. A bat that survived the storm and led us to you, he said to Rachel. You owe your life to a creature you probably never saw. Emma added, we'll mount ultrasonic detectors on future missions. If we can learn to interpret these calls, bats could become a crucial partner in Avalanche Zone SAR. Rachel managed a weak smile. I'll pay my respects. Plant a little memorial, she said, for my airborne guardian. That night, Emma climbed back to the boulder site alone. The forest was silent save for distant rotor hum. She pressed her recorder against the log near the hollow. A solitary call answered. A single click, clear as a bell, then silence. She stood beneath frosted branches, making a vow. Nature's smallest voices must never go unheard. Back at base, Emma pored over hours of ultrasonic recordings. Each call consisted of a rapid frequency sweep, from 25 kilohertz down to 15 kilohertz, in trains of 6 to 8 pulses, separated by precisely 80 millisecond intervals. In lab tests, little brown bats use this pattern to gauge distance and navigate cluttered spaces. Here, those pulses had translated into a breadcrumb trail through the snow. She assembled a multidisciplinary team: bat ecologists, acousticians, SAR operators. In the conservation lab, they played recordings through ultrasonic speakers, mapping echo returns from model snowdrifts. By tracking pulse echo timing, they reconstructed the bat's path from its hibernaculum to Rachel's pocket. One ecological specialist, Dr. Naderi, pointed out the bat's hibernation physiology. During torpor, heart rate drops to 10 beats per minute, but if disturbed, it can arouse quickly. Its initial wing beats generate airflow that can penetrate snow's porous matrix, thus the high articulation calls. Emma realized the implication. A bat, while foraging or deterring predators, could inadvertently reveal human presence beneath the snow. By deploying mobile ultrasonic arrays, SAR teams could triangulate live bat activity and trace their flight corridors directly to subsurface voids where victims might survive. The team simulated a rescue drill on a controlled slope. Hidden volunteers donned beacons but without signal. Ultrasonic microphones placed downhill picked up bat calls above the volunteer's location. Using time difference of arrival algorithms, Emma's group pinpointed the hot zone within 10 meters. Remarkable precision compared to Avalanche beacon triangulation alone. Jonas, observing the test, exclaimed, "This could cut search time by half, and the bat doesn't need batteries or maintenance." Emma grinned, like an all-natural, self-powered sentry. She drafted operational protocols, mount detectors at ridge crests, train dog handlers and medics to recognize bat call patterns, and integrate these into SAR software. That evening, Emma addressed the shelter boundary team. In Avalanche country, every second counts. We now have a living partner, one that thrives in these extreme conditions. Let's learn its language. As she spoke outside the window, a lone bat fluttered against the barn's eaves, its high-pitched cries drifting in on the wind. Winter deepened. A series of storms laid fresh snow over Silverpine Pass, raising avalanche risk to extreme. Emma's SAR unit deployed pre-storm sonar arrays along known roost trees. At dusk, the arrays lit up with activity, bat swarms disturbed by gale-force gusts. Their calls buzzed through the valley like a living radar grid. When a snowmobiling couple vanished beneath a slab avalanche on Mount Hartwell, traditional beacon signals faltered in the electromagnetic storm. Emma's team raced out with snowmobiles, microphones clamped to poles. The bat sensor lights pulsed red. Calls registered at 2 separate ridges, their triangulation converging to a mid-slope depression. Dig teams arrived in minutes. Using the bat-directed coordinates, they cut into the drift. A muffled cry answered. In seconds, they pulled out the man, hypothermic but conscious. His partner lay nearby, stabilized by an air pocket. Both owed their lives to the bat's storm-driven flight. Media dubbed it the Bat Scream Rescue. Emma, uncomfortable with spotlight, emphasized teamwork between humans and wildlife. "These bats aren't trained," she told reporters. "They're just following instincts." We listened. She demonstrated the handheld ultrasonic scanner, a sleek device that translated 20 to 60 kilohertz calls into visible waveforms and audible bleeps for operators. Over the next weeks, SAR missions across the Cascades integrated the bat listening protocol. Dozens of buried skiers and snowboarders were found faster than ever, some under 8 feet of snow. The saved credited not only their companions' courage, but the bat's perseverance in winter's teeth. High on Mount Sterling during a whiteout rescue, Emma descended into the Avalanche crown. Above her, bats skittered through the wind-tossed forest, their calls pulsing in choreographed sweeps. Emma held her scanner aloft. Waveforms spiked. Fire crews honed in on the pulses and located a trapped solo climber with frostbitten hands, but stable thanks to an air pocket. The rescuers' first words, "Thank you, Bat Sisters." By spring thaw, Emma's Chiropteran SR program became an international model. In the Alps and Rockies, teams adopted bat detectors. In Japan's Haida Mountains, volunteers placed ultrasonic beacons in ski huts. Each region's native bats, long-eared, pipistrelles, mouse-eared, offered unique call patterns, but the principle remained, heed their cries, and the lost are found. In Silver Pine's Visitor Center, an exhibit opened, Guardians of the Night, showcasing live bat enclosures, interactive bat call displays, and SAR case histories. Visitors donned VR goggles to follow a virtual bat's flight through an avalanche zone, guided by echolocation. School children marveled at bat snout audio playbacks and tried sonar puzzles. Emma, at the exhibit's ribbon cutting, addressed the crowd. Tonight, as you return home, look to the trees. Our smallest allies scan the world with frequencies we barely hear. To ignore their message is to turn our backs on salvation. She paused as real bats flitted overhead in a dusk release, their silhouettes dancing beneath floodlights. That night, Jonas joined Emma in the forest, the exhibit's lights glowing behind them. He sifted through a roost log and released a handful of little browns. They ascended like living sparks into the night, clicking in unison. "They're home," he said softly. Emma listened, the calls washing over her. Not all embraced the Batsar approach. Skeptics warned of wildlife disturbance, false positives in noisy storms, and bat habituation risks. Emma led field workshops on minimally invasive array placement, noise filter algorithms, and seasonal call pattern mapping to discriminate between migratory calls and local bat activity. In a blind test on Mount Colfax, 12 buried volunteers lay under random snow depths. Rookie teams, trained only in avalanche beacon use, averaged 25 minutes to locate subjects. Teams equipped with both traditional beacons and bat detectors halved that time to 12 minutes. False alarm rates were under 2%. Meanwhile, bat ecologist Dr. Naderi monitored colony stress indicators, arousal rates, roost site fidelity, and reproductive success. Findings showed no adverse effects from brief, nocturnal detector presence. Emma's protocols became standard wilderness medicine curriculum. One summer, a wet snow avalanche threatened a backcountry lodge in Scandinavia. Emma's team joined local rescuers. Ultrasonic arrays poised, they recorded a single bat's call, a denning bat foraging near a cliff ledge. Following the pulses, they discovered 3 hikers trapped in a collapsed sauna shack, alive but hypothermic. The grateful frontier community erected a wooden shrine to the rescue bat under the avalanche debris. Years later, Emma stood atop Silver Pine Pass, the valley below lush with summer bloom. Rangers operated solar-powered bat sensors along the ridgeline. Students tinkered with DIY ultrasonic apps on their smartphones. At dawn, she watched a caravan of snowmobiles depart for a volunteer safety patrol, each equipped with sonar gear and microtransmitters. In the twilight forest, bats danced among the pines. Their high-pitched calls, inaudible to most, wove an invisible network, mapping terrain, guiding moths, and sometimes saving people lost to winter's fury. Emma closed her eyes, listening in her bones to the silent symphony. She pressed a hand to the rough bark of an ancient fir, a known hibernaculum. Beneath, thousands of tiny hearts pulsed. In those rhythmic echoes lay a lesson. That harmony between species can be a lifeline. As Emma opened her notebook to record the day's readings, a single bat call rippled through her portable detector, crisp, hopeful, and eternal. She smiled. The night's guardians were still watching, still guiding, and the world was richer for every echo.